Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I am Taylor. I share these What's for Dinner videos every week to hopefully give you guys some inspiration and motivation to cook more for your family. This week's is a really long one. We tried some really good recipes this week. Everything we ate was so delicious, so I hope you're ready for that. As always, any links that I mention will be linked down below. If you're new, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button so you can come back for my future videos. And let's go ahead and get into this week's meals. It is Friday, and tonight for dinner we are doing pizza. So this is the pizza dough that I always make. It's called fail-proof pizza dough. I will have it linked down below for you guys. I've made it so many times, probably like a dozen times. And so, yeah, I didn't show me making it again today. I did do one thing different. I used bread flour / pizza flour. It's higher in gluten. And I could just tell a difference when I was stretching it out. So hopefully it's good. It was like super stretchy, but it smells delicious. So we've got some cheddar cheese on there, mozzarella cheese, pizza sauce, and pepperoni. And I'm going to make another one when Andy gets home. It's probably going to look the same. But to go with it, we're running low on produce. I'm about to run to Walmart. So we've got some grape tomatoes for Lily and some salad for Elijah. And I'll be having a salad as well. But that is going to be dinner for Friday. Okay, I am getting dinner ready for tonight. This is going to be like homemade Chipotle. So I'm going to marinate some of this meat for that for tonight. So this is some London broil. This is close to 4.5 pounds. I'm gonna do one whole one of these so that we can have like leftovers of it. And then the other one I think I'm gonna cut in half and freeze in 2 separate bags. But I'm going to thinly slice this one that I'm gonna marinate. And I'm going to marinate it with some salt and pepper. Where's my salt? There's my salt. Some cumin, a little bit of soy sauce, some oil, olive oil. Got some garlic. I was gonna do fresh cilantro, but instead I'm doing this powdered cilantro because it's what I have on hand. And then I had 1 lime, so I juiced the lime, and then I'm also going to do a little bit of lemon juice. And I'm just going to mix some of all that together and put it in a bag and let it marinate in the fridge for a couple of hours until we are ready to cook dinner.
Many hours later.
Okay, I'm about to get started cooking dinner. I've got my steak that was marinating from earlier, and I've been letting this sit on the counter for the last like 25 minutes, kind of let it come to room temp. I've got my cast iron heating up. I'm going to cook it in that. And then over here, I've just got some black beans. I don't drain these, but I do add a little bit of water to them, and then some taco seasoning. And then back here I've got rice. I'm not doing homemade cilantro lime rice this time because I found this at Kroger on markdown. So I'm making 2 boxes of that to go with our dinner. To cook the steak, I cooked it over like a medium heat till it was cooked through. And then once it was cooked through, I turned the heat up to high to let that liquid in there evaporate. And then the steak like got some like crispy bits, and it made it just like so delicious. But I made sure I was like stirring it and watching it constantly with it on high. I did not want to burn it. Okay, here's all of the steak. I just used my knife and cut it up into pieces so it'd be easier to eat in our burrito bowls. And here are me and the kids' plates. This is mine. So I've got that cilantro lime rice in the bottom. Here is that. And then our black beans on top of the rice. And then I've got some cheese. I'm just using cheddar cheese. And then my steak. And then I have some of this Walmart pico. And yeah, that is it on mine. I've got some tortilla chips out in case we want those. The kids kind of have everything a little bit separated. I threw some cheese on top. They don't have pico because I don't think that they'll like it because it has the onion and the jalapeno in it. I did give them some chips and some regular salsa. This is the on the border salsa. So they've got that on the side. And that is going to be our dinner for Saturday. It is Sunday afternoon and I am getting some stuff ready for dinner tonight. I am making a crusty Italian bread. I'm just going to make 2 loaves, and I've shared this, but it's been quite a while, so I thought I would film me making it. I will also have the recipe on the blog where I found this so that you guys can get the exact measurements and everything, but it doesn't need a whole lot. So we've got some salt and some oil, and I've got 1 1/3 cups of warm water. Gonna need some yeast. I keep this in my freezer. I buy a big huge thing of it on Amazon. And then we're gonna need some brown sugar and flour. And I'm using bread flour, but I have made this recipe every other time with regular all-purpose flour, so you could definitely use that. But since I have bread flour, I'm gonna go ahead and try it with that today. So I'm gonna start off by putting my warm water, my yeast, and my brown sugar in here, and just let that sit for a few minutes so it gets nice and bubbly. The yeast has gotten all nice and foamy, so now we're going to add in the salt and olive oil. It's going to be 1 1/2 teaspoons of each. Okay, the recipe calls for 4 cups of flour. I'm going to add them a little bit at a time. I'm going to add 1 cup now and get my dough hook on here, get it started to mix up, and then add the other 3 cups gradually. Now that I have the 4 cups of flour in there, I'm just going to continue to let it knead for probably close to 5 minutes. Okay, dough has come together. I did knead it for about 5 minutes. Now I've got this nice ball in here, and it's not sticky. It removed pretty much everything from the sides. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in here, a little bit of olive oil on top, kind of roll it around in the oil, and then cover this with a towel and let it rise for 30 minutes. And then it should be doubled in size. Okay, it's probably been a little bit over 30 minutes. Here is my dough. You can see it has risen. Sorry if it's loud, my dishwasher is going. I'm gonna punch this down, divide it in half, and then form 2 loaves. And then I'm gonna cover it with a damp cloth and let it rise again until it's gotten about double the size. Okay, it's been about 45 minutes. My bread has risen. It's about doubled in size. I have preheated my oven to 375. And over here, I have mixed together 1 egg and a tablespoon of water. I'm about to brush that on these. And then I'm going to take a sharp knife and put a slit down the middle. And then these are going to go in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. But I'm also going to place like a cake pan with a little bit of water in it underneath this in the oven, because that'll help give the bread a nice crusty crust. Okay, here is my bread after 25 minutes. Nice golden crust, and it's crispy, and if you tap it, it sounds hollow. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove these with an oven mitt because they're very hot to my cooling rack and just let them cool. Okay, to go with our bread tonight, I don't remember if I said we are having spaghetti. I'm trying this recipe for homemade marinara sauce. I'm not following it exactly. I'm not using the same tomatoes. They wanted whole plum tomatoes that you would then put in the food processor and chop up. Instead, I just got crushed tomatoes because we like crushed tomatoes in our sauce. And I bought this like name brand Cento instead of the store brand. So hopefully it turns out a little bit better. Then we've got some oregano, basil, calls for sugar, but I'm going to wait till the end to add sugar if it needs it. And then some salt and pepper. And I will leave this linked down below so you guys can get the exact measurements. I'll probably end up adding more of things because, you know, it's all to taste. But it also calls for 4 to 6 cloves of minced garlic. So I'm doing 6 because we really like garlic. I've got my little thing to mince it up. And then I just used a bowl with a lid to peel it. I found this online as an easy way to peel it, and it worked really well. I don't remember the last time I bought fresh garlic, so I had no idea how to like peel it and stuff. And then we've got an onion. It calls for 1 small onion. I only had 1 really large onion, so I diced up about half of it pretty small. And in here I have about 4 tablespoons of olive oil. I am going to heat this up and get my minced garlic and my onions in there and let them get translucent and soft and not brown. And then I will add in my tomatoes and my seasonings and let that simmer for about 3 hours, stirring it every so often. Okay, it didn't say to do this in the recipe, but I did it anyway. There was quite a bit of sauce still like on the sides of the can, so I filled up one of them with about half of a jar of water, and I kind of like got all the sauce out, and then I poured that into the other jar, got all the sauce out of it. So these 2 jars are like clean now, and now I'm gonna add that to the sauce. Okay, it is 6 o'clock. I am finishing up dinner. Here is what the sauce is looking like. I need to stir it. I have added a little bit of sugar, a lot of salt and pepper, and then I also added some crushed red pepper flakes. And I think that was all that I added. I feel like it might still be missing something. I don't know. We're going to add it, some of it, to the ground beef because that's going to be way too much sauce for this meat, and then I will freeze the extra sauce. We've got some water coming to a boil back there for our spaghetti noodles, and then here is our bread. As you can see, I did not roll it very tightly, that's why there's some holes in it, but it'll be fine. It tastes delicious. So I'm going to brush this melted butter mixed with some parsley and some garlic salt on the bread. I'm preheating my oven to 350, and then I'm going to bake this for 7 to 10 minutes, and then we'll have that with our spaghetti. And here are our plates. This one is Andy's, this one is mine, this one is Elijah's, and this one is Lily's. And this is what's left of the meat sauce that I made, and we don't have any noodles left, so I have to make more noodles because somehow I always make not enough noodles or way too many noodles. I don't know. Don't know how to tell how many spaghetti noodles to make, especially when they come like in a big box like this. This is 3 pounds. So like when they come like that, it's like, okay, how much should I make? Because usually if I make like a regular box, I'll make like half of the box of noodles, and then it's like the perfect amount. But when it comes like that, it's hard to tell. So I'm boiling more water so that there can be more noodles to go with this sauce that's left. And then there's still a lot of sauce back here in this. So once this all cools off, I will put it in some jars and get it in the fridge. And then once it's really cold, I'll put it in the freezer probably tomorrow. But yeah, we got plenty of sauce left over. It is Monday night, and tonight for dinner I'm going to be making a Cajun shrimp and rice. But to go with it, I'm making some broccoli, and I want to get that in the oven first because the shrimp and rice is basically like a one-pot stovetop meal. So broccoli is probably going to take longer than that, so I need to get it in the oven. I'm just cutting up my broccoli into pieces, and then I'm going to put some olive oil on it and some Tony's, of course. If you've been here a while, you know. Tony's and Badia. And then I have my oven preheating to 425, so this will cook for probably 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, tonight's dinner, as I said, is going to be a Cajun shrimp and rice skillet. I found this on Pinterest. I'm not following it exactly because they have you make your own Cajun seasoning, but I'm not doing that. I'm going to use this Slap Your Mama, some oregano, and some onion powder instead. So besides the seasonings for this, you'll need 1 1/3 cups of rice. I went ahead and rinsed mine. 2 2/3 cups of chicken broth. I have some hot water here that I mixed with about 3 tablespoons, or not tablespoons, 3 teaspoons of chicken bouillon. I will leave like all of this listed in the description box, like exact measurements and everything. And then 1 pound of shrimp. We've got these peeled and deveined tails off ones from Sam's Club. And then a teaspoon of minced garlic. And then of course the Cajun seasoning. So I'm going to start off by seasoning up my shrimp with 2 tablespoons of melted butter and some of the Cajun and the oregano and the onion. And then I'm going to cook that over here over medium heat. And then we'll remove that from the pan and do some stuff to our rice, get that cooked, and then we'll mix it all together. Okay, my shrimp are done. I'm going to melt 2 tablespoons of butter in here, put in my 1 teaspoon of garlic and the other seasonings, the Cajun seasoning and the oregano and the onion powder, and my rice, and just saute that around for just a couple minutes. Now I'm going to stir in my chicken broth and bring that to a boil, and then once it comes to a boil, I'm going to reduce the heat, cover it, and simmer it for about 15 minutes until the rice is done. The rice is perfect after the 15 minutes. So now I'm going to stir back in my shrimp, and this will be ready to eat. Here are our plates. This one is Elijah's and Lily's and mine and Andy's, and we've got our broccoli with our rice and our shrimp, and we will probably all drink milk with this because it is going to be spicy because it's Cajun. But that is going to be dinner for Monday. It is Tuesday, and tonight for dinner I cooked up some chicken. I did it the way I always do it. I cooked it on the stove in a pan with a little bit of olive oil and butter, and then some badia and some of the Tony's Creole seasoning. So I cooked that up, and then we're all having what we want. Kind of. The plan was to have chicken sandwiches on hamburger buns, but if you saw my grocery haul, you know I did not get hamburger buns. I got hot dog buns. So we are improvising and doing chicken sandwiches on the Italian bread that I made the other night. So I just kind of cut it in half, but I kind of also cut out the middle to make it thinner so it wasn't too thick of a sandwich. So like I cut that part out. So this is mine. I've got some mayonnaise, chicken, cheese, lettuce, tomato, and then I've got a Clausen pickle and some of the all-dressed Ruffles. Those right there. They're really good. And then this is Lily's. She wanted a chicken sandwich as well. She just says chicken and cheese. Sliced tomato on the side, some cucumbers and carrots, and some Ruffles as well. Elijah didn't want a sandwich, he wanted a salad instead. So he has lettuce, cucumber, chicken, mozzarella cheese, this dressing, some carrots, and then I gave him a little bit of Ruffles because I'm sure he will ask for some since everybody else is going to have some. And then everything is out so that Andy can make himself a sandwich. He said he wanted a sandwich as well. So, like I said, I cut the sandwich, or I cut the bread this way and then cut the middle out so it wouldn't be too thick. But that is going to be our dinner for Tuesday. It is Wednesday, and tonight for dinner I am making a recipe called Please Make That Again Hamburger Casserole. I've also seen it called 4-ingredient hamburger casserole. The 4 main ingredients are hamburger, noodles, cheese, and tomato soup, and then any seasonings you want. The recipe says garlic powder, salt, and pepper, and then it says optional. You could add onion or onion powder. I'm going to add some onion powder, and I think that's all I'm going to do. Based on the comments, it sounds like this is pretty much going to taste like a goulash. So I'm going to start off by cooking my ground beef with my garlic, onion, salt, and pepper. And over here, I already have my 1 box of noodles going. It said shells, but I don't have shells, but I have a ton of elbows. So I'm using elbows, the whole box. Just gonna boil those till they are al dente. And once my meat and everything is cooked, we will mix everything together. Tomato soup, some of the cheese, and then we will top it with the rest of the cheese. And then this is going to bake for 20 minutes on 375. So I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven now. And then over there you can see I have some zucchini. I'm going to cook that up on the stove while the casserole is in the oven. Okay, my hamburger meat is browned. My noodles are cooked. So now I'm going to add my noodles, my tomato soup, a half a cup of water, and half of my cheese. It calls for 2 cups of shredded cheddar and 1 cup of mozzarella. I'm just going to do all cheddar because honestly I don't feel like shredding up mozzarella tonight. So I'm going to add in 1.5 cups of cheddar and save the other 1.5 cups to put on top. And here are our plates. This one is mine with all of the zucchini because I really like zucchini. This one is Andy's. He will eat zucchini, but like it's not his favorite vegetable. His favorite vegetable is green beans. And you probably know that if you've been watching my What's for Dinners for a while. This one is Lily's. She has cooked zucchini. And this one is Elijah's. I was going to give him cucumbers, but he asked for raw zucchini. So that is what I gave him. I just left some on the side and didn't cook it for him. But that is going to be our dinner for Wednesday. You want to tell them what you think?
I want more.
You want more?
Yes.
So we should definitely make it again?
Yes.
Yes? What do you think?
I would give this
Good?
good. 20 thumbs up.
20 thumbs up.
I'll give this 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Definitely agree. It is really good. I think it could use some more seasoning. I mean, it doesn't need more seasoning, but you could definitely doctor it up however you want. Add some Italian seasoning, whatever you want. It is very good. It reminds me of kind of like a hamburger helper again, but like with tomatoey-ness. So really good. And of course my zucchini is always good. It is Thursday, and tonight for dinner I'm going to be making some smothered pork chops in the Crockpot. I believe I've shared this recipe before. I feel like everybody's made this recipe before. It's all over Pinterest. It's super easy. So I have some pork chops. These are boneless pork chops. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 in there. And then I have 1 cup of chicken broth. I do 1 cup of hot water and some of this chicken bouillon. And then we've got a can of cream of chicken soup, some garlic powder, and then usually I would use pork gravy, but I don't have any, but I have this turkey gravy I want to use up, so I'm going to use that instead. And then I have an onion soup mix. So I'm just going to add all of this in here in the crock pot with these pork chops, and then this is going to cook on low for 4 to 6 hours. Okay, it has been 5 hours and this is pretty much done. My meat is done. I checked it just a few minutes ago, but I want this like sauce to kind of thicken up a little bit because I'm going to serve this over white rice. It's also great over mashed potatoes, but my husband and kids prefer rice over mashed potatoes. They're weird. I'd rather have potatoes, but sometimes I do the things that they like more just because, but sometimes I will make it with potatoes because that's what I like. But you do what your family likes. But because I want like a gravy over the rice, this is a little thin. So in here I have 1 tablespoon of cold water, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, And I mixed that together. I'm going to pour this in here and just stir it up and put the lid back on and let it sit until we are ready to eat. Okay, here's our dinner. As I said, I made white rice and then I made some green beans as well. And as always, I just seasoned those with a little bit of butter, a little bit of chicken bouillon, and some pepper and garlic. But there's my plate. I have one of the pork chops and some of the gravy. And then here are the kids' plates. I cut up their pork chop, put some of the gravy on their rice. And that is going to be dinner for Thursday. And that is going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it this far, please make sure you leave me a thumbs up. As I said at the beginning, everything we tried this week was so good. If I had to pick my favorite though, it would be the steak Chipotle bowls. The steak that I made for that was just so good. It was a little bit crispy. It didn't taste exactly like steak from Chipotle, but it was really, really good steak. And that London broil was really tender. I loved it so much. And the leftovers made great burritos and quesadillas. It was so good. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.